Hey, welcome. Let me try that again. All right, here we go again. Hey, welcome to the Story Studio podcast. Today should be an interesting show. And by interesting, I mean we may see the collision of light and dark or something like that. So in addition to the usual compliment, our guest today is Jesse Cole, owner of the Savannah Bananas baseball team, which we've talked about on a previous show. We're going to have Johnno on at some point too, right? We're going to have him on to talk about the Savannah Bananas TV show that is being pitched right now and just graduated from Imagine Impact. So, hey, welcome to the show, Jesse.
Yes, I am so excited, mostly because of Dave.
And so, for those of you who are listening to this on audio, you're kind of missing out. Yeah, you're kind of missing out because I don't know Jesse anywhere near as well as Sean does, but the times I've seen him, every time it's been the yellow tuxedo with the yellow hat every time.
Yellow underwear too.
So that's my next question. A banana hammock, literally.
Oh, well, do you sell banana hammocks? You should.
Why wouldn't we sell banana hammocks? Yes, we're actually going to have a banana hammock zone at the ballpark with actual hammocks, but you can only get in a hammock if you're wearing a banana hammock. It'll be very low attended, I'm sure.
All right, now
if I'm there.
People who are listening to this right now, you're going to hear Jesse say a lot of things like that, and you're going to assume he's kidding or it's bullshit. But there's like a 95%
No, that's legit.
Anything you hear is actually happening, actually true.
So we're going to do our round of something cools, but before we do that, I feel like the audience may need just a little bit of a primer on the whole yellow tuxedo thing. Like, do you wear it literally every day? What are the circumstances under which you wear it?
You wear it to funerals.
That's where you would go, Dave. So if you know, I'm just learning you, Dave. A dark moment. Let's go right to funerals to open this conversation. No, Dave, I do not wear it at funerals. But no, one of the questions I just saw, I got asked, how many yellow tuxedos do I own? And it's 7 yellow tuxedos. It is my uniform. So when I put it on at showtime, I wear it all the time. And no, not on Sundays. Family days, I do not wear it. I am actually a dad at some point.
Do wear it to bed?
I do. I actually have a yellow pillowcase. People just buy me yellow things. It's so funny. They're like,
that makes sense.
Get them some yellow stuff. So I got yellow pillowcases.
Do you hate yellow yet?
No. I love yellow because people don't wear yellow. Dave, and you're black. All right, people don't always wear yellow. So I wear the yellow. All right, everyone
That's
wears.
True. Yellow. People don't wear yellow.
No, it's not a thing. So I'm trying to stand out, be a little different, and
usually they don't wear yellow unless they have like a little monkey following them around.
Yes, so the Curious George reference. Yes, I get asked that very rare. I probably have a Curious George books here. That's all my son will read is Curious George books, and he just points and he goes, "Dad, Dad, Dad, Dad." No, that's just the.
Oh wow, that's an awesome dad moment right there. So,
have you ever been like in public and somebody's asked you where your monkey is?
Oh yeah, every day. I was in the airport yesterday. Hey, where's George? Where's George? I don't know. I'm looking for him. My response is always, "I'm looking for him." But now, like, this is kind of cool, actually. Like, now it's become a little thing. People yell, "Go Bananas," across the airport, whether I'm in, like, Indianapolis or Chicago. I'm like, all right, like, there's a few people who know, like, we're the Bananas, and that's pretty cool.
How much do you think that affects people before they meet you? So, for the record, I actually met you not in the yellow tux. Like, we had a normal sit-down dinner where you looked like...
Yes.
Yeah, what was going on? Were you not on your game that night?
Yeah, I went incognito. So I went down to MMT. I was like, I'm just going to be Jesse, the dude. And it was very weird. I was very confused. And then obviously we went to dinner, and then all the crazy yellow tux banana stories came out. And that's where I went from there. So, yeah, I wear it all the time. And, I'm married, and she's still married to me. So it's really worked out well.
It's funny, you guys, because Sean and I went out to LA for this, just to sort of celebrate like the fact that the Savannah Bananas graduated basically. And, so we sat down a few meals with Jesse, and it takes commitment because you say, well, I'm going to wear a yellow tuxedo. Okay. Yeah. I'll put it on for like 10 minutes. He's not in Savannah at the ballpark where people know him and stuff. He's just some weird guy out walking around in a yellow box with a yellow hat and fully committed. Like the hat came off like for 2 minutes at one point, but other than that, it's like 100%. And that takes some commitment.
Well, yes, but that was in LA. So at least it's like you see shit like that in LA. So the first time I met Jesse was in Park City, and it was kind of cold, and he chose not to wear, I think it was his first time there. And so he didn't want to be the weird guy in the yellow tux in front of everybody until the people who knew him was like, what, you showed up without your yellow tux? Where are your balls? So the next time we met was in Mexico, in Cabo. It's super hot on the beach, and Jesse's rocking the tux 100% of the time.
Yeah, sweating through the tux. Yeah, in LA and New York, it's normal. But like if I'm in Milwaukee or Toledo, people are like, what is wrong with this guy? I mean, the airports, the looks, and TSA, like TSA literally is like checking me every time. Dressed like this? No, you check a guy like Dave. You don't check me. You know?
I've been wanting to be body searched more often. I'm going to have to start wearing yellow because I do like the anal probing.
All right. Well, on that note, anybody have anything cool? Not that you can top anal probing when it comes to something cool.
My something cool is actually related to anal probing. So maybe I'll go first.
She's like, what kind of show am I on?
Sorry, am I on the right show, guys?
Well, so I've been writing a lot of like just articles for the site, especially for next year. And they come assigned to me. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to write. I have choices, but I don't know what I'm going to write. Basically, I'm giving a list of this is what would help our audience the most. And so the one that hit my desk this week that I've been working on for a couple of days now is how to write a sex scene. And
no, that's a fun one.
Right. And so what I didn't realize, I'm like, oh, I'll do that one. That's not that hard. You know, as a company, we've written over 1 million words worth of sex scenes.
Are you just look at Dave's search history?
That does help for sure.
Only if you're writing about Sean's mom, though.
I didn't realize that writing about sex scenes, like how to write sex scenes, basically would require me to write about what I think about sex. Like it's just a whole fucking essay because you can't, it's not about, you know, slot A into tab B. It's very much about the emotions and, you know, the changes and whatever. So it's this whole like piece that I had to go to a place that I didn't expect to have to go to in the last couple of days. To
the lube?
Dave's house?
So anyway, the point is that every time I say it, like, how long should it be? It's like when people ask us how long an episode of a serial is. It's like, however long it's supposed to be to answer the question. That's always the answer I get back for this. Well, it turns out it takes 7,000 words to answer this particular question.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and 2 full days of writing. But the goal for each of these articles that we write is to be the best answer in the world for search, you know, and so that's, you know, that's what I hopefully did in the last couple of days. It'll post sometime next year. But anyway, if you want to know how to write a sex scene, we have exhaustively answered that question for you.
So can I jump on something cool here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So on that note.
Uh-oh, props.
On that note, I was just giving this as a gift.
Oh, Dave has one of those.
Apart, so it broke. But this is what I was given as a gift, as you can see.
All right, so Jesse is holding up. It looks
Dave is sitting on one of those right now.
It looks like a banana peeled about 2/3 of the way down. Only the actual banana part, the part you would chow down in, keeps falling off. So now I'm really, really curious what it is.
It's super phallic.
Oh, it's a lamp. It's a light.
Yes.
Well, Dave's got one of those, and it looks. You think it's a banana, but it's not.
So this was a giant. People find the weirdest banana gifts to give me, and yep, this is now literally on my desk. This giant banana lamp.
Dildo. That's not a lamp.
Do you ever just kind of
clearly a dildo that glows?
It warms you up from the inside.
Do you ever sit down and say, "How the fuck is this my life?"
That's usually between 2 and 3 o'clock every afternoon. So I look into the wall and I question my life and how it got here.
I do the same thing when I wake up.
I woke up. What happened?
But Dave does it in despair and Jesse does it in triumph.
And after spending 45 minutes in the bathroom.
No, it's seriously on a serious note. It's just wild. I mean, we are so fortunate. We get sent ridiculous gifts every day. Bananas things, P.T. Barnum things, yellow things. And because of what's happened with the bananas, it's just, it's silly. It's really, really, I mean, I got sent bananas art today from a 7-year-old and it's, we'll call it art.
Dave.
What's that?
It might have been from Dave.
Dave, it's there's a lot of glitter. I'm looking at it right now. There's a lot of glitter on it. So
I just got off the job at the strip club, so yeah, sometimes glitter gets on.
And the other thing that you guys are missing in terms of the visual here is that behind Jesse is a whiteboard where it's got it's like brainstorming names of decks and platforms, I assume within the stadium. Can you read some of those back there? I mean, this is we think we have a pretty fun brainstorming job, and it is, but Jesse's got a pretty good one too.
I mean, this was, let me see, the produce stand, the farmer's market, banana hammocks, top banana bar, banana garden, banana treehouse, splits landing, then some other ideas here. The bathroom DJ, the valet parking, the petting zoo out front, where we actually put interns in petting zoo costumes and have fans actually pet them.
That sounds like a lawsuit waiting.
Wait, I want to talk about that for a second, because if Dave was on your team, he would tell you everything's a bad idea, everything's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Actually, I would have some horribly funny ideas. So
actually, Dave.
Yeah, but yours would be like murder box or
yeah.
Dave, here's one you'd be in. All right, so this is the you'd be in the living pinata promotion, where we actually would put you in a costume. And we would have kids with plastic bats hit you, and you would throw candy up in the air. You'd be like,
you have to pay for that. So yeah, all right.
Now, what you guys don't know is that Dave is furiously taking notes for his competing team, the Phoenix Palaces, and oh my God, is he going to have fun? All right, so Dave, do you have something cool?
My something cool is something annoying, as usual. Okay, as you all may be aware, last time I said I started watching Handmaid's Tale. So I'm talking to my friend on
Jesse,
Facebook.
you never want to watch that ever.
Yeah, I'm scared.
I'm talking to my friend on Facebook Messenger, and I'm asking her if she'd seen it.
Oh, she spoiled stuff.
No. Better than that. So I'm asking her if she'd
Better
seen
or
it.
worse?
She said no, not yet, and she asked me a question. So I got an Android phone, and I got the Google button. So I went to Google something to answer the question, and Google pops up. Like not just a search bar like on your computer, but it has a news story, and the news story spoils a major death in the last episode that I haven't even. I'm like 2 seasons away, so I'm like,
you forget.
Facebook spying, sending it to Google and telling them, hey, this is what he's talking about. Spoil it. So I'm just very upset. I'm going to stop watching the show now.
So the robots are now spoiling things for you?
Now, wait a minute. That was a serious comment I made. There's no chance that you're going to remember that. You have the memory of a gnat.
No, I will, because it's a major death.
Who is it? Spoil it for me. I'm not.
How old's Sean?
No, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that's listening.
Hey, Dave, are you excited about my upcoming 40th birthday?
All right, I'm going to defer my something cool just because I want to get rolling, and there's going to be a whole lot of banana-y goodness on this one, and plus I don't really have anything. So, so let's talk about this. So
this episode has double the potassium.
It does have double the potassium. So just to catch everybody up a little bit, and then we'll launch into it. Well, actually, Sean, do you want to do the quick recap on, quick, right? Because we want to hear Jesse's side of it, but what happened with just to catch anybody up who's like, why the hell do you have a baseball guy on?
So the very, very quick story is that Jesse and I met in a group that we are both in. We met a couple, I guess it's a little more than a year ago. We just had the second event in September, October, something like that. And this event is super curated. So the host just puts people he thinks should know each other together. And so I sat at dinner with two people at that dinner are now good friends. I would consider good friends, Jesse and someone else. And just, it was a really, really epic dinner, but no big deal. We had fun. We laughed. We thought we were being obnoxious. The person at the table next to us, probably, but we were especially conscious of this older couple who was, at the table next to us, and we just thought we were being too loud. And as we're getting up, they come over and say that was the best conversation we've ever heard. So they enjoyed it too. It was a really awesome dinner, but that was it, whatever. That's what those kinds of conferences are for, like amazing conversations you don't easily forget. And so just a couple of weeks later, Johnny and I were at the Austin Film Festival where we met our friend Johnno. For the first time. We had seen him speak a year before, but Johnny recognized him. We called him out. He came over. And he's
a Hollywood writer.
And this was on a Thursday. And we went back to the festival every single day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On Sunday, we were there, had nothing to do with the festival. We were there to talk to a friend who was in town at that hotel, coincidentally. And then as we're about to leave, we see Johnno again. We end up talking to him for a couple of hours this time. And in that conversation, we were talking about just meeting up with cool people. I started talking about this group. I started talking about that dinner. I started talking about Jesse, specifically about the time he had a mariachi band play at his game, and the commissioner came over and tried to slap him on the wrist and gave him a $100 fine. So Jesse wrote a $600 check to cover the next 5 times they knocked on his door. I thought that was an amazing story. Johnno agreed, but Johnno had the angle, you know what, this really sounds like a television show. And so we just kind of kept poking at that over the next year through a lot of ups and downs, actually. At first, I mean, there were a few things going for us for a while. Our biggest setback was we were ready to go. We had interest, and we had high-level interest from some very promising avenues. And then all of a sudden, the front page news for like a good 2 months was that Hollywood's not going to do anything in Georgia ever again because of their abortion laws. And we were assured that Hollywood has a very short attention span, and sure
shorter
enough,
than Dave.
Yes, even Hollywood remembers that I turned 40. But you know, after, I don't know, it wasn't very long. It was like maybe another 2 months after that big scare, we actually got into the Imagine Impact program, and everything's been kind of rolling along since then. There was also a big question because Jesse was getting a lot of knocking on the door for reality shows, which totally makes sense given anything you know about Jesse.
Yeah, actually, Sean, let me interrupt you at that point because I'd like to hear Jesse's side of this. So what was that like when, because you were fielding offers from reality shows, or not offers, but like interest, and then Sean comes in and says, hey, let's do a sitcom. And what was that like? What was your thought process and how did that go for you?
Well, first of all, it was the worst dinner of my life. I was just
I lost my monkey.
It was brutal. I was by myself. No, it was, yeah. I mean, we started getting reached out to by a few different production companies starting about a year ago about doing reality. And we were just trying to figure out, could it work? What would it be about? How would they tell it? And sitcom was very much like, I don't know. Could a sitcom work? Could it hurt our brand? What could it do? You know, it's a lot of it's made up. And then just getting to know Sean, getting to know Johnno. Johnno came down here for 2 games, and we hit it off. I mean, we had so much fun. We put him on the field. He was watching all the promotions. And I was like, all right, this makes sense. I think he understands, you know, what the heart of this team is. And, you know, we're a circus. We're not like your typical baseball team. We make sure we're completely different than any baseball team. But
what are you, minor league or minor? What's the designation for your baseball team?
Oh, yeah. Garbage league, right?
Yeah, we'll be nice on this. There's Major League, there's Triple A, there's Double A, there's High A, there's Regular A, there's Low A, there's Rookie Ball, there's Independent Ball, there's top-level college baseball, and then there's us way below that. We're a little bit above high school, all right? But no, we have top college players come here, but they can't be paid. It's not professional. And college summer leagues around the country, there's about 400 teams, but a lot of them, they're getting about 100, 200 people come to their games. It's very low attended because it's just a baseball game.
And how many do you sell? So Savannah's is sold out. 4 years ago. So, sorry, we're echoing. So Savannah is fully sold out for like a long time ahead of time. And how many seats do you have?
So 4 years ago, when we first came to Savannah, we sold 2 box seats in the first 2 months. Two tickets. 2. Wow. That's it. And it was so bad that literally 4 years ago, Emily and I, my wife, had to sell our house, empty out our savings account. We were on our airbed. We were down to our last dollar, literally our last dollar. But then we went all in the entertainment and created senior citizen dance teams called the Banana Nanas, male cheerleading teams called the Mananas, breakdancing first base coaches, pep bands, banana babies, giveaway porta-johns, colon cleansings, you name it. And now fast forward 4 years later, we've been fortunate to sell out every single game, over 4,000 tickets per game. We have a wait list for tickets in the thousands. And Emily and I, we now have a real bed. So it's come full circle. We have a real bed. We have a 1.5-year-old kid, and we're living life. And you know, that's where it is. So now at the lowest level of base, sold out every game based on this entertainment, on this circus, on the fun. You never know what you're going to expect when you come to a game. Similar to like you guys in a story, you know, our story started from nothing and became something, but our story's changing every day. There's a new chapter that we're telling because we believe in businesses. If you're not constantly reinventing and doing something new, you're in trouble. And our whole theme, our whole mindset is to get people to come to the ballpark and say, you wouldn't believe what happened at the stadium today. You wouldn't believe what they did. And when you create that really wins for us because it gets everyone talking about us. And that's why, literally, as I'm holding up here, is my idea book. And every morning I write down 10 ridiculous ideas to get people talking and to create attention and have fun.
Can you give us one idea from today?
Oh, geez. a living statue in the merchandise stand. So literally, someone just that has a gear, but they're a living statue, and then they start moving and talking to you. So again, that would get people talking. There was a literal living statue in there. What are some other ones? We have the visiting team mascots actually making up fake mascots for all the other team, and then having our official luchador beat the crap out of them before the games. Furious George having a crazy monkey character that goes nuts when things go wrong. We call him Furious George. So these are just some of the, I've told some of these before, but these are some that I was working on. A ballpark butler, promotion called Hug of War. Don't know what that is yet, but working on it. A team grandma who does cookies and cuddles and kisses in a rocking chair before the game. Fiddler on the Roof, where we actually have our stadium club and we hire a violinist just to play on top of the roof for no reason.
I love that it's no reason, too.
Yeah. Do you have room for like an angry, surly, hairy guy that hates people?
Yeah, you'd fit in well. We'll put you on the outfield somewhere.
Dave could be Furious George.
We also want to do the worst scene in the house. So instead of the best scene in the house, we actually put a porta-john way out, like a porta-potty way out, and have fans have to sit in there, the worst scene in the house.
So Dave, do you feel like you're working at the wrong company now?
Yeah. But it's kind of how we like think of like whatever's normal, do the exact opposite. So like you think of like, all right, this is normal for a baseball game, and this is what did I just see? Because that gets people talking, and that's the mindset. And some work, some fail, and some are just fun.
So do you have like storylines for your actual baseball teams like they do in wrestling?
Oh, don't get him started. Yeah, he's.
We may have talked about some of this.
So what do you no, go into that, Dave. What do you mean by storylines?
I mean, well, are the games scripted? Are they real games? Do you have storylines with? Okay, so do you have storylines with your players? Do you make characters of them, or is that all?
No, okay. Right now it's baseball. So that's good. Right now it's baseball. These guys show up. Yes, the players will do conga lines through the crowd in the middle of the game. Yes, the players will go on dates with fans during the games, which is really funny as our sexy saxophone will be serenading going on a date. It's ridiculous. Yes, they'll do dates. They'll do all the craziness, but we want to make it a little bit more like WWE. Inspired. I want the players to have stories. They're real players. They're playing to play professional baseball. So we make it fun, but we'd like to build more of those characters into it so people can really get into, their story, where they came from, what they're trying to do. Because right now it's just, hey, it's a circus. We're going to see the circus tonight. What's going to happen? And not building that enduring brand of these characters. Our breakdancing first base coach has become a character. He does Beyonce single ladies into the moonwalk, and people are like, wow, we love Maceo. But it's basically just on his talent, not on his storyline. So that's the next step for us. So people will start following us kind of year round.
I like that. Cool.
So one of the things that, so just going back to the idea of like the reality shows were kind of courting you, and at the same time as Sean was picking your brain about this. And from our perspective, from when Sean and I would talk, it was almost like the ship has sailed. Like, I mean, I know that wasn't what it was, but there was kind of this tone of like, well, I don't know. He's got a lot of people. He's not sure. Like a sitcom, it might mess these things up. And then you told a story about when Johnno came to the ballpark,
story, yeah.
and why that kind of like really convinced you to maybe go this with Johnno instead of, and by the way, let's be clear, it's Johnno. Like Sean and I are peripherally involved, but this is all Johnno and Jesse. So can you tell that story about when Johnno came in?
So Johnno got an Airbnb. So we talked that morning. And he, like the week before, and he's like, all right, I'll get out there. And it was our last two games. And he got an Airbnb right next to the house, right next to the stadium. And we're pulling in, Emily and I pull in. And all of a sudden we see this guy walking like through the park towards the stadium. And he's wearing bright yellow pants and bananas hat. And he's got like a yellow, like my book in his hand. I'm like, this guy is crazy. He must be Johnno. And I yell out, I go, Johnno. He goes, Jesse. And I'm like, all right, I already like this guy because it's just yellow pants walking with my book, which is just silly.
Johnno plays full out.
Yeah, he doesn't mess around. And so then we went to lunch and we talked, and he like going through my book, and he's got all these pages highlighted. He's like, that's an episode, that's an episode, that's an episode. I'm like, that's a line. He's like, oh, there's an episode there. And he started just seeing it differently. And he came up to the game, he was on the field, and he started watching us do like crazy promotions, like cold turkey we tried for the first time, where we bring out 2 frozen turkeys, and we have 2 grown men see who can get the turkey the warmest in a minute. It's most disgusting promo. I mean, literally, the cases were taken off. It broke every like rule and every health code. I mean, it was just disgusting. These guys were like humping it, and it was
I want to see Dave warm a turkey. Dave, how long do you think it would take you to defrost a turkey with your body?
I don't even know where to go with that without going X-rated. Go on.
So we won't get you on the promotion for that, Dave. But so Johnno starts watching this and watches, like, you know, we have dances where the whole stadium is dancing. We have promotions where the whole stadium is singing against each other. And he watched Olga, which is our woman we dress up in a big fat costume, and she starts singing "We Are the Champions" in the 7th inning. The game's not even over because we're winning, because it's not over until the lady sings. And he's watching this, and he's like, you guys are ridiculous. And he's like, this is fun. And I could tell that he's like, he gets it. And also he hung out all night with us, the whole team. After we work hard, we work all day, we celebrate, we tell stories. And Johnno's doing drinks with the staff, and they're all having fun. I'm like, all right, he knows what it's all about. And we hit it off. And I think reading the pilot episode, it's like, hey, this is ridiculous, but there's a little bit of heart. And amidst this craziness, we do care. We care about our fans. We care about the people. And it's really important to us not just be a joke of the Savannah Bananas, to be something a little bit more. And we found that with Johnno and you guys.
So, all right, so there is a question there too, because we have, so the version of Jesse Cole that is in this pilot, which I'm sure will be tweaked before it actually gets on air, but even the version that we have is not you. It's not you, Jesse. Like, there are some similar notes at best.
Yes.
But how was that? Because that's got to be weird. Like, if they were making like a show about us, it'd be weird to see who are they going to cast and how are they going to present it. So there's two questions here. How did you feel about that going in? And I know we talked about this already, but no one else has heard it. So how did you feel about your life being kind of adapted ahead of time, and how that would reflect on your life and your brand and all of that? And then how have you felt like as it settled and now it looks like it's actually going to happen?
Well, it's weird. I mean, you say like, oh, here's a perception of you. It's a guy in a yellow tux who owns a team called the Savannah Bananas. Like, that's me, but it's a story completely different to an extent. And so in a weird way, it was like scary. It's like, oh, are people going to like say, oh, that's how Jesse really is? Is that like, he doesn't know anything about baseball. He's kind of an idiot with certain things. Like the way the script was written, it was like just ridiculous. But then as I got through it, I was like, no, like this is different, and people will know it's a sitcom, and like anything. But I don't know many people that have a show written and it's your personality, your characters inside it. How do you not internalize it? You have to departmentalize it, which, you know, at this point, I'm just like, hey, it's fun, and not all things are real. And I know, like Mark Zuckerberg, when they did the Facebook effect, he was all pissed off and all upset and all frustrated. It's a movie. It's a TV show. The idea is to entertain. And I get asked this question a lot. I'm a big P.T. Barnum fan. I got a P.T. Barnum poster right here, a custom poster I made here for my office. And people always come to me, Jesse, I know you love P.T. Barnum. What do you think about The Greatest Showman? What was your thoughts on the movie? And I said, I loved it. And they go, well, what about, was it all true? I go, of course not. They go, what do you mean? I go, most of it was made up. That's not how his life was. They made it all different. And I go, but that's exactly how P.T. Barnum would have liked it. P.T. was all about putting on a show, entertaining people, and he would do it no matter what. And that's the same thing for me. If my goal is to bring fans first to the world and entertain and put on a show, I don't care if it's different. I don't care if it's made up. If it's entertaining, it wins. So that's my mindset now with it.
And if you guys are watching this and are thinking, well, this guy's, I don't know, putting on, I don't know that I believe this. I mean, when you said, because fans first, like, tip this off for me. So, you know, I hear fans first and I think, okay, well, it's a slogan. It's something that they're using. But then Jesse proceeded to list all the things that are about fans first. And so that is a real, like, genuine passion for you. Can you tell us about, like, the thank you notes thing? Like, can you tell the audience about some of those sorts of things that you guys do, that it's no bullshit, like fans first?
Sure. We try to live our brand. I mean, obviously I'm in a yellow tuxedo every day. We believe in living our brand and living it all the way through, going all in on our brand. And that's what Emily and I had to do 4 years ago. And so the name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. Our mission is fans first, entertain always. Our vision is to bring fans first to the world. Every decision we make is it fans first. We will say fans first over and over and over again. Our core beliefs is the fans first way. And it's always be caring, different, enthusiastic, fun, growing, and hungry. So without getting into our whole corporate mission, everything is fans first. So we live it. So our whole staff, every day, they do one fan a day. One fan a day. They write a thank you letter or do a video to one fan a day. I started this back in 2016. And I called it the Thank You Experiment. And every morning, I'd write one thank you letter a day. Peers, friends, old teachers, coaches, authors, and it changed my life. I remember Simon Sinek, I wrote a thank you letter to him, and I got a call from him, and it was unknown phone number. And this was back when you answered unknown phone numbers. Dave, you probably still answer unknown phone numbers. But
No, Dave doesn't answer any phone numbers.
I don't answer known phone numbers.
I don't answer any calls. So I answered this unknown phone number, and it was, Jesse, it's Simon Sinek here. And I go, shut up, who is it? And he goes, Jesse, it's Simon Sinek. And I go, no way. And he goes, I'm just calling to tell you how much your letter inspired me. The reason why I do is to inspire people to live inspired lives. And he was living his why. And I think what we try to do, myself, without getting too serious, is live our why. And we want to be fans first with everything we do. Yes, we're going to have fun. Yes, we're going to get a lot of attention. But we want to be who we are. And who are we and what do we stand for? And it's doing the right thing, being fans first through and through, and making sure we have a great experience. And that's why the show, to go back to the sitcom, is so important to us, that we wanted to show that. We wanted to make sure that, hey, there's a heart behind it, and to create something special, to make people feel something, not just laughter, but also feel like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I think that's more on brand for us.
Were you involved at all in, like, so Johnno had this long protected process. I want to say that Imagine Impact was what, 8 weeks, maybe 10?
Yeah,
and
8, but they had a short break.
Right. Okay. And they went through, he went through several iterations of the script, and I know he was talking to us, and I think he was talking to you at the same time. Was there any involvement? Like, were you popping ideas to him? Were you weighing in on, should we go this way? Or what did you think about some of the early versions, later versions, any of that?
I remember some of our best talks. Johnno's now one of my creative people that I speak to every 2 weeks just about ideas. We have idea paloozas with our staff, and we bring everyone together and talk about random ideas. And he's one of my people now, and so I love it. We talked about different ideas in sense of, hey, what about the players skydiving to their positions? That's been a dream of mine for a long time. How to have the players skydive for introductions. So batting first, coming from the sky, coming down, and each person gets a skydive. And he's like, oh, that could be an episode. And then we talked about, right now we're working right now on the most ridiculous night in sports. That's going to be a promotion that we do every year starting this year. And just everything just doesn't make sense. The whole entire night is thrown through. And he was throwing me ideas. We're bouncing back and forth. And so more with Johnno, it was planning episodes in the future. And so we thought, oh, that's an episode. And a lot of it's things that we've already done, just taking it up a level. And so we've had a lot of those jam sessions. And I think he started to understand the way we think and how we think about ideas. So he builds some of those things into the scripts, which is pretty cool.
How do you foster the sort of environment where people are free to come with any idea they have?
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so about midway through the season, this past season, I realized we were doing the same promotions pretty regularly. As a musician would say, we were playing our hits. We were playing the same promotions, the Dancing in the Darks, the Hey Babies, the certain promotions, the Bananas Barnyard, where everyone acts like an animal on the field. It's ridiculous. These certain ones that we knew would get great laughter. And so it was about halfway through the season, we had a few reporters come over and visit us, and they're like, so what are these new things? And I looked at myself, I was like, we're not doing that many new things anymore. We're doing the ones that we know everyone loves. So I went to the staff and I said, guys, hey, we got 2 games to finish the season. I want everyone, it's 9 a.m. At noon, you're pitching a promotion, something. You're pitching anything. And so with those 3 hours, they went off, everyone got their own promotion to pitch. And we had this whole pitch session. It was the most fun. I mean, these ideas crest on my chest where people were pouring like toothpaste on their and then wanted to brush their teeth, the husband on the brushing their teeth on the person's chest. It was just disgusting. All these.
Dave, you do that, right? Isn't that what you do on Saturdays?
And so everyone pitched those ideas. And then that night we did 2 new promotions. The next night we did 2 new promotions. And some of them didn't work. Some of them were ridiculous. Like that cold turkey, that was the weirdest thing we've ever seen. But everyone had so much fun. And we said, you know what? Every night we're going to commit to doing 2 or 3 new things. They may not work. They may not be perfect, but that's who we are. So now we've got this culture where it's, hey, if it doesn't work, at least it's a story. Like the human piñata or the living piñata, at least it's a story and at least it's fun. So we've built this mindset where when you do so many things, you don't really fail. It's just experimenting. And what's your next at bat? What's your next promotion? In a given night, we'll have 25 to 30 promotions in one night. If one is just completely stupid, who cares? I mean, guys, literally, we had a night, instead of a Christmas party, we did a Thanksgiving party. We called it Fansgiving, and we had a pilgrim game. The first ever pilgrim game. We invited our fans to come. We dressed them up as pilgrims. We threw out the first rock. We called it Plymouth Rock. We did turkey bowling. We did all these things that don't even make sense. But our fans loved it because they're like, you guys are just crazy. I think that's who we are. So we just constantly try it. To answer your question, Dave, test it, try it, test a new thing, try it, keep testing.
What's the worst idea that, like, it just, not like turkey where it was
human
like,
centipede,
but like, what is one that just did not go over at all? You're like, well, we shouldn't have done that. I don't know that, like, you should tell the digging to China story because that's hilarious, but that's an example of one where, did you regret it when the field is all dug up, or was it worth it because the payoff was there, the fans were happy?
Yeah, it's fine. I get asked this question a lot. So, like, ones I kind of mind back in the day, Flatulence Fun Night, where we gave away whoopee cushions, had a bean burrito contest and a farting contest on the field. I think we only had 300 people show up.
Did anyone shit their pants?
Yeah, they had 2 people on the field. Yeah, that did not happen. Salute to Underwear Night, where we had people, the media came to that one. So there was about 100, this was back in Gastonia, my former team, back in our Gastonia team when no one showed up. 120 people showed up for that, including the media. If you wore your underwear on the outside, you got a free ticket. And we had people wearing the nastiest, grossest underwear you'd ever imagine. It was the most unfamily-friendly night ever. It was disgusting. That one failed. It was disgusting. World's largest tickets. This was back in the day. We came up with tickets the size of posters, literally like giant posters. And we had like all like players and promotions. The fans hated them. They're like, what are we supposed to do with these giant posters? And so, we tested those things, but we had the Tap in the Morning Beer Fest because you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So we had a morning beer festival at 9 a.m. And so we thought we'd get people excited. It wasn't until we started giving away like free breakfast and tons of food till we had people show up. But I was excited to see 200 or 300 people drinking beers at 9 a.m. But so again, it's tough for us to say what actually bombed. They're all just silly. They're all silly. Our events sometimes fail. They don't get too much excitement, but nothing that's just completely over the top. I mean, when we tried to give away a colon cleansing on the field, the guy ran away. We had a nurse out with a glove, and a guy ran away as we're trying to give away a colon cleansing. So that's what we do. And if you want the dig to China, I can share the dig to China, Sean.
Yeah, that's a great story. You should absolutely share that.
Okay. Again, dig to China night. We decided we're going to give away a trip to China. So after the game, fans can come out and dig on the field. So we let hundreds of fans dig on the field. They absolutely tore up the entire field until one woman, she found the trip, but it was a certificate for a one-way flight to China. No flight back and no accommodations. We were getting to China, but we weren't getting her back. She wasn't too happy with that promotion, so we ended up giving her a cruise instead. But anyway, that was so that's kind of what we do. And it's like, all right, what are going to be the promotions this year that are ridiculous, that don't work, that we can tell a story about? And as you guys know, sometimes the most ridiculous, the things that don't make sense, are the best stories. And that's
for sure. I mean, the magic of what you've done is you've gotten your audience, you've gotten the sold out 4,000 people and all the people on a waiting list to talk about how awesome you are. Whether they're going, even the people who are not going to the game are still interested, invested, and talking about you. And that's the holy grail for kind of any business.
How did you said you had a baseball team before this?
Yes.
How did you come up with the concept and all the things you're doing different now versus, I mean, did you originally start off with like, I'm just going to, do a regular team, or was it like weird and wacky like this, or what?
So when I was 23 years old, I became the general manager of a team in Gastonia, North Carolina. It was the worst team in the entire country. There were less than 200 fans coming to the game. My first day I showed up, there was $268 in the bank account. And we had 3 full-time employees, and payroll was on Friday.
And what made you want to be the owner of this team?
I got to be the GM. I was 23 years old. I got offered the GM, but I realized that the job was offered for me because no one in the world wanted it. It was the worst team in the country. So I got offered. So it was like, all right, I took it.
That is the plot of like so many movies right there.
So I took it. So that first day, I called people in the community. The team had been there for 10 years or for 7 years. So I called people in the community. The first 7 calls, people were like, "Who are you guys?" No. Then I got hung up on. Then people said,
"A baseball team."
Yeah, it was brutal. And so I went home, and I remember I realized it's like no one gives a crap that we're a baseball team. No one cares. So we had to do something different. So I called the owner of the team and I said, "Ken, we can't be just a baseball team." He goes, "What do you have in mind?" I go, "We got to be a circus." I go, "The only way we're going to get people excited, everyone hates baseball around this area. They weren't excited about it." So I said, "Let's do grandma beauty pageants. Let's have our players do choreographed dances. Let's start serving donut burgers and donut dogs and garbage can nachos." And the idea of making it a circus. And we just
How much pushback did you get right away?
None, because there was no one coming. There was no one to push back.
What's to lose?
I mean, that's the honest to God truth. I mean, there were so few fans coming that the few diehards that came, they didn't want to come anymore because they're like, this isn't baseball. But we didn't get pushback because no one cared. If you're not getting criticized, you're not doing anything. So once we started getting criticized, we knew we were onto something because we weren't playing it safe anymore. So that's where we started trying and experimenting all this, and we started having a lot more success. 1,000 people started coming out, 2,000 people started coming out, and it was all set up for this big opportunity in Savannah where we could really create our own brand, make it our own, and that's where kind of everything came together.
Now, do you own this team, or are you the manager? Oh, okay.
Yes. Emily and I went from zero debt to well over $1 million in debt to take over this team, and with the airbeds and brutal challenges to now, fortunately, it's been pretty successful.
How long have you been consistently sold out?
Every game since our first year.
Since the first year. That's amazing. So you have a reputation now. Like, people know the Savannah Bananas. So two-part question. Number one, are there other teams who are like, we're just trying to play baseball and now these guys are being clowns? So that's part one. Part two is for players and stuff. So you have people who, I mean, I would imagine you're going to get some people who are just like, I just want to get to the major leagues. I just want to play ball. And then they have to play along with these shenanigans too. So do you get any of that or no?
Yeah, we got tons of pushback in the beginning. I mean, I'll never forget before our first year in Gastonia, I said, guys, we're going to dance. And before the first practice, I had a dance instructor show up and say, guys, before we play baseball, we're going to learn how to dance. And the guys looked at me like, what? And one pitcher literally said, no, I'm not doing it, and ran off to the bullpen. And he said, I'm not doing it. And he started working on his pitching. And the other guys tried to practice dancing, but they couldn't dance. But halfway through the season, all the guys that were dancing, they were dancing so hard, and the fans loved them so much. Like, they were literally dancing, and they were signing more autographs. I remember walking through like, they were popular. I remember walking through the crowd once, and a woman, her husband was talking to him, and she immediately said, shut up, honey. They're about to dance. And I was like, what is going on?
What about the other teams? I'm sorry.
I went off to the bullpen. I was pissed off. Halfway through the season, he took off his belt, went on the field, and started ripping his belt over his head, doing the jump on it dance, and started getting all in on the dancing because he's like, I want to be a part of this.
It's ego gratification.
You better believe it. And here's what I found out. 5 years later, he was on a billboard in LA. He's now a male model.
Oh, amazing.
Full circle. So I hope I inspired a male model there. But, in the beginning, to answer your question, the guys were against it. But once they started seeing the players in music videos, like our Old Town Road music video got over 1 million views this past year. Can't Stop the Peeling, which we did with the Justin 4 years ago, hundreds of thousands of views. The guys started seeing like, wow, I'm actually getting famous. I'm not famous, but mini famous in their world. And they're like, I got to buy in on this. And so now our guys just say, I'm in. And you know what? Here's the reality. Like, you guys know this. You have fun. When you're having fun, you do better work. When you're having a good time, you write better work. When you're pissed off, when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're focused on the wrong crap, when you're too serious, you don't do great work. The players have fun, and we've had the best record in the league the last 4 years, gone to the playoffs every year and won a championship. And so now we've got proof, and we have videos actually with professors studying our stats and saying, when you wear a Bananas uniform, you play better based on the statistics. And so now the guys are like, we might as well join, go all in, let's have fun, let's do a conga line, let's join in on this.
So are there other teams that are like doing what you are doing now? Like,
I hope so, but not to an extent. It's scary. I mean, getting players, telling them to dance. I mean, we shoot videos in the middle of games.
It's not about having the team or the players really in that kind of situation. It's about having a Jesse. Like, if you don't have somebody in there who's like a ringleader and like, I mean, you need a monkey in the circus.
Yeah, but people are always going to try to copy what works somewhere else.
Yeah, and I think to an extent maybe, but yes, you need a complete buy-in. I mean, you need to say, and then you need to have 4,000 people there, like, saying we love this. Because after the games, we have our pep band playing music, free s'mores, and the players are actually outside greeting all the fans when they're leaving, and all the fans are giving them hugs, high-fiving, and dancing with it. Like, you guys, it was awesome. It wasn't the double you hit in the fourth inning. It was like, oh, your dance you did in the second inning, that was the best thing I've ever seen. Oh, that promotion you did. And they're complimenting, they're reinforcing what they're doing, which is really cool.
I'm going to my first Savannah game in June. I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah, I really would love to see one. Jesse, what about the other teams?
What about them?
Are they
How much do they hate you?
Right. Are they like, well, why you guys are stopping to do dances and stuff and we're just trying to get the damn baseball game over?
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy. I remember some of the meetings where the other owners were like, this is crazy what you guys are doing. How come you're allowed to have your players do an interview series in the bathroom stalls called Shooting the Shit? like which we actually did. We had our players do an interview series, and it's like that's who we are. We're not going to focus. And the crazy thing is we win the most games. So, I think there's a challenge because it's different. And anybody that's doing something a little different will always be challenged. So teams may not love it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We're going to keep doing it, and we have fun. And I think for us, that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So what about away games? Do you bring the circus with you?
So here's a funny idea, actually. So again, when we have idea paloozas to come up with these ideas, we always say, come up with the worst idea ever, because the worst idea, that's going to turn into something. So like one of the ideas was like, it was just, hey, let's have a party bus come to one of our games and whatever, a party bus. And we turned it into, why don't we bring our entire show to another game? Our pep band, our Banana Nanas, our male cheerleading team. And we actually do all the promotions in the grandstand. And we're doing our entire show at this visiting game with like 300 people there. And the fans are like, what is going on? And we actually take over their ballpark and do our own show during a game. And it started from like a party bus to a visiting game. And we're like, that would be fun. Because, yeah, a lot of the visiting teams, they might have 300, 400, 500 people at their ballpark. What if we just brought our whole show and put on a show for their fans and turn their fans into Bananas fans?
How does that work? Like, do you have, since, in your home crowd, like they know you, they're expecting it. Like that's, I imagine a large part why they bought the ticket, because they know that it's going to be a circus. So a lot of people in visiting teams might be like, I don't know, like they're genuinely interested in baseball, or they're the friends, family of the other team. So how do they react typically?
Well, again, we don't do the show on the road. So that's what I said. That's the joke. That's the idea of doing the show. On
gotcha.
The road, yeah. Oh, no, I would love to do that. Like, that would be really funny. No, on the road, it's a very simple baseball game. You play baseball, whoever wins, wins. And the players don't play as well on the road because they don't have the energy. It's kind of just, it is what it is. It's a baseball game.
That must be a bummer for the people who are like, oh, the Savannah Bananas are going to be playing this game. They're like, oh, they're just playing baseball.
That's it. They're playing. The players aren't dancing. They're not going in the crowd. It's just a baseball game because they're on the road. So again, the idea of hijacking another team's game and putting on a show there is very, very.
Uh-oh.
There's a lull.
There was a little bit of a lull there.
Well, I don't know if it's the freeze or not.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a freeze, so that threw me off. Okay, so I have a few kind of concluding questions. Do you guys have more before I get to them? Because mine would be good to kind of close this up on.
No, I mean, I love Jesse's stories. I could talk to Jesse for years, but we'll have our time. So
I do. Okay, this is all family friendly stuff mostly, or no?
Yeah, Jesse's very family friendly guy, right?
I try. I'm not in black, Dave. I'm in bright yellow. Remember that. No, we have. We have Dolce and Banana underwear. So most teams, they sell T-shirts. They sell hats. We sell Dolce and Banana underwear. We have big banana with a big banana on the crotch, and we have the small banana on the crotch. We are developing a banana hammock zone in the ballpark. We are doing things that are on the edge. We will get right towards the edge, but we try not to jump it because
So that brings me to the next question. How much pushback do you have when you do have you crossed the line, and do you get like angry people, offended, or whatever?
I don't know if we crossed the line. We had a few people upset with our Dolce & Banana underwear because we did a black and white like Dolce & Gabbana commercial with a shapely man and just the underwear and pouring water over his body with the violin music. And we did it. It's actually very funny if you check it out. Like him riding a bike, just like exactly like the commercials in Italy. We had a few people say, that you guys went too far.
What about the nipple commercial?
Oh, geez. Oh, yes, we did this too. Now, we didn't air this, but we may be airing it. One of the guys on our team, one of the guys on our staff, his nipples are just always hard. And so
wait. I'd like to pause and appreciate that image a little bit, because not a lot of people notice that about people around them.
I'm very observant of our staff, and so this gentleman, his nipples are always hard. I go, Matt, what's up? What's up with the nipples? And
it sounds like another HR
number of times I said that.
He goes, yeah, obviously you can tell we don't have an HR team here. So I go, Matt, what's up with the nipples? He goes, man, the shirt's just it's soft. And I go, ooh, that's a commercial. So I go, Ben, I grab our videographer. I go, let's film this. Put on a banana shirt, Ben. And I put on a banana shirt, Matt. And he puts on the shirt, and his nipples are still hard. And he goes, shirt's so soft, they'll make your nipples hard. Shirt's so soft, they'll make your nipples hard. And we showed it to the staff, and the whole staff was like, you can't air that. And I'm like, come on, shirt's so soft it'll make your nipples hard. We never aired it, but we might say, hey, on the cutting room floor. But we also did shirt's so good you don't need pants. And we did all of our staff running around with just shirts but no pants on. Shirt's so good you don't need pants. We come up with a lot of things, but some work, some don't. But yeah, that's it.
All right, so this is sort of my concluding question here, and that is, I mean, you already have a sitcom. Like, I mean, hopefully, like fingers crossed. But if you didn't, and if you were to go back in time, like what would you tell somebody who was trying to pitch this idea? Because it is kind of an absurd idea. It is a big hurdle to overcome. And Johnno had to prove himself to you. And we talked a little bit about it, but like what made the real difference? What made you say, okay, this is the right way to network, let's say? Because I can imagine a lot of people like trying to just, I don't know, talk you up and convince you of the money or something.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to know what matters most. For me and Emily, money doesn't matter. We've never looked at our bank account other than we had a few dollars left. Money doesn't motivate us. Impact motivates us. Stories motivate us. Inspiring people motivate us. Having fun motivates us. For us, if someone came in, which they did, producers, hey, we'll do this. I'm like, that doesn't matter to me. And so when Johnno came in and you guys were talking about the fun, it was really, I understand who you are. I understand the brand. It's not just a circus. There's more to it and for the pitching, it was understanding what we are, what we stand for was the big difference. And Johnno made that very clear. I'm a part of this brand. I'm a part of this team. I'm a part of you guys. And I want to make sure that I make you proud. And I think that was the reaction. I want to make you proud. Really, I never heard that from a producer, that I want to make you proud. He meant it and it was genuine. And with you guys knowing that your heart's there. And again, as silly as we are, as fun as we are, that's really, you think back to legacy and what you're doing and you have a brand, you've built a huge brand with what you guys are doing. You want it to represent well. And I think that if you have a sitcom, that's important to us. And Johnno and you guys represented that.
How did Johnno coming out to Savannah to see the game and participate compared to when the reality show people came out to Savannah to witness the game?
Johnno was completely all in, bought in. I think, and I love the reality group we're working with. But again, only 2 groups actually came to games. 7 or 8 other groups said, we want to do this. We could see you guys killing it. This is going to be a show. But they wouldn't invest the time, energy, or money to come out. The reality group, they enjoyed it, they watched it, but Johnno got in on the action. I mean, he was on the field. He was mixing with the players. He was always taking notes. I mean, he was all in, and then hanging out late night with the staff. And then he wrote a thank you letter to everyone on the staff, and everyone was personalized. Everyone was about something that he interacted with them about, and some of them were jokes, and he messed around with some of the staff. Every single one. That shows you.
Johnno's such a prince.
Yeah, and that really hit home with us. So I was like, all right, we're in, let's do this. And now let's make a show together and have some fun. And you want to be around people that you enjoy. You want to be around creative people. You want to be around fun people. I get energy being around you guys. I want to be around you guys more. The same
Even
thing with
Dave?
Yeah, well, Dave's another, again, I've just met Dave today. I'm focusing on you guys right now. No, but seriously, that's it. And when Johnno, I was like, I need to have more time around him. And like with you guys, I want to do more jam sessions, more creative sessions. That's what it's all about.
That wasn't as fun as the answer that I thought I was going to get, which is that none of them came out, but it's still pretty damn good. Just to fill in some of the gaps, because a lot of writers listening to this and they want to go out and do this sort of thing. Is Johnno is, I mean, if I could sing his praises a little bit, we've watched him in action a few other times. It's not just watching Johnno and Jesse do the Savannah Banana stuff. We've seen he'll update us and, hey, look at this package I just dropped off, and he'll do like elaborate gift baskets. Like I think he did one for you guys. It was all bananas, or maybe that was a producer who was pitching.
Yep.
But he's doing it from a heart space too. It's not manipulative. It's not like, what could I deliver that will make these people feel that I appreciate them? Like, he genuinely does. He puts a lot of thought and heart into everything he does. And that, I think, is what makes the difference from what I've seen.
100%.
Well, thank you so much for being on, Jesse. This was just as fun as I thought it was. It was more fun than I thought it was going to be, because you got to mix it up with Dave. Any final word? How do people keep up with the Bananas action if they can't go to a game, which they can't because it's sold out?
There's ways to get to Bananas games. We have a wait list right now. We open it up, so there is ways to come on down. But like for this group, for these people that your listeners, I love stories. I love ideas. If anybody ever has crazy ideas, stories, share them with me. I love it. I get fired up by it. We're always trying to think differently. And if there's ways that I can help anyone on how to share a story. I think that's something that we didn't talk about, but I've been so fortunate that I'm sharing our story every day. It gives me energy. I'm on stages, I'm doing podcasts, and the more you share your story, the more you can inspire. When you share your story, it's not about you. It's about the people that are listening and the impact you can make. And so I challenge everyone here that has a story that's too afraid to get out, share it, and keep sharing it, because that's been a game changer for us. And that's why we met you guys. Sean, if I didn't tell the crazy stories of the bananas, we wouldn't even be here today.
That's very true.
And so I believe everyone, don't be afraid to share your story. It's not about you when you share your story. It's about the impact it can make on others. And that's why I continue to share every single day.
So when you say reach out to you, where would they do that?
You search Yellow Tux. You search Yellow Tux on Google, you'll find me. If you search Yellow Tux, I'll be everywhere.
It's awesome to own that phrase, dude. I own Big Nose.
Yes, Big Nose. I will share this. A few years ago, I read Mark Cuban's book, a little short book, and I wrote him an email that morning. And within 2 hours, he wrote back to me. And I was blown away. Mark Cuban, owner of the Maverick, Shark Tank, everything. And I will say, if anyone reaches out, shoots me a note, you can find me the Yellow Tux, email, whatever. I'll reach back out. That really that inspired me, made a difference, and I'll try to always be like that.
That's amazing. Well, thank you very much.
I'm going to start
Jesse.
writing every day.
Next time we'll talk about when he gets his first stalker. We'll handle that when it happens.
Cease and desist.
So everybody, thanks for listening to the Story Studio podcast. We'll have to get Johnno on whenever his schedule allows, because I think that'd be a great other side of the story.
I think it's crushing right now, but early next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he's underwater, but yeah, when we can. So thanks again. I can't wait to hang out too. I hope to come to a Savannah Games game at some point in the future as well. So Dave won't. He never leaves his house.
See you in
I'll
June,
go if you guys are going.
Oh, dude, I'll seriously drive up. I will be there in June. Come up. All right. So you just heard that, Jesse. Can Dave have a seat?
No, I just want to be clear. Johnny and Sean are invited to the game. Dave, I'm sorry. You could be outside.
Just like Nink. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Adios.
Bye-bye.